where we feel like we're stuck in the same cycle looking for something to change, but nothing is changing. If you want to make sure that you break out of the rat race and you want to make sure that your future generations never get caught in the rat race, then you follow these 6 strategies. And you'll notice that the acronym is wisdom. Hi, it's Dre Griggs with Obsidian Wisdom. Today we're into the question, how do I maintain my wealth? When it comes to maintaining wealth, you'd be thinking of it from 2 perspectives. One is your own. You don't want to run out of money. And that's something that most people worry about. Dre, am I going to run out of money? Dre, am I going to lose the lifestyle that I always dreamed of having in retirement because I don't have enough money to live that exact lifestyle? Those are really the 2 questions that people have from a personal perspective. Once you get past that, everybody's asking, Dre, how do I make sure that the generational wealth that I create lasts? Because, and I'll put a link to another video, you guys all know that generational wealth, about 70 to 90% of families, it's gone by the third generation. And today I'm going to give you the 6 strategies that will ensure that you maintain your wealth for generations to come. The first one is a winner's philosophy. When it comes to winner's philosophy, that really comes down to what am I willing to do? What cost am I willing to pay to achieve the results that I want? And as long as you know that there is a cost and it's possible to achieve your goal, then you'll be okay as long as you're willing to pay what that cost is. And that's where most people mess up. When it comes to you or your future generations getting scammed, what is going to be the number one determinant of that? And I would say it's not understanding that relationship. You are trying to get something for nothing. When you look out there, there are people who are advertising that they have an investment strategy that's going to achieve a 10% return every single week, and you're going to be able to live off of this money, and you're only going to have to put like $5 in, and it's going to turn into $50,000 and all that other foolishness that they say. You don't understand the relationship of success. So when it comes to creating a winner's philosophy, the first and most important step of having a winner's philosophy is accountability. That is accountability to yourself. That's accountability to your plan. That's accountability to the mission, the family compass, our core values. Everyone has to be in lockstep with what that looks like. What do your children have to do to be able to access the money? That would be a winning philosophy. You don't want to just give the kids the money and say, hey, they'll figure it out, because they may figure it out, but it may cost a lot. And I'll give you a question to help drive this point home. What happens when a wise man meets a rich man? What always happens is the wise man leaves with the money and the rich man leaves with the wisdom. While it is difficult to quantify, we understand, if you've ever watched sports and heard people talk about this, they talk about the benefit of having gone to the Super Bowl or the World Series or the NBA championship in a previous year. That when the team who's a veteran team, who's been there before, they have a distinct advantage against the team that has never been to the championship game because they know exactly how to act when the situation arises. They know how they're going to feel. They know how the refs are going to call. They understand all the intricacies of the championship game. And as a result, they have a clear advantage. When it comes to building generational wealth, you and I both know that if you're a first generation of wealth, that means that you had to figure out a ton of things along the way. And you have to pass that information on to your children. The reality is, we can't just leave a bag of money. That is why 70% of people who win the lottery are broke within 3 years. That is why the majority of professional athletes, once they retire, they're broke within a few years. You can't just give someone money if they have not had the transformation themselves. And that transformation starts with accountability and understanding a winning philosophy. And once you have the accountability set, it's important to identify the patterns. Once you identify the patterns, what does that look like? It really comes down to understanding that there are ratios. You guys hear me talk about them all the time. There are ratios of probability of success. You want to do things that create a high percentage likelihood of you achieving success. That is all long term investing is. When people do short term investing, that is a coin toss. They are speculating. They believe that metaverse is going to be the next big thing. They believe that AI is going to be the next big thing. They believe that Y2K was going to crash the whole internet. They also believe that marijuana was going to be legalized in the entire country and that they were going to ride that wave. But each of those situations doesn't have the same probability of success. It is not a proven path that we can follow. I'm big on not reinventing the wheels. I'll give you a quick example with my second oldest, Alex. She won her spelling bee for her class, and now she gets to compete in the school. And then whoever wins in the school, they get to represent the school and the county and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I told her, look, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are a ton of spelling bee champions. Let's go online. Let's see if we can find the information on how to study and prepare to win a spelling bee. We can find someone who has the wisdom, which all wisdom is experience, where they have the experience to be able to tell us exactly what they did. And we can either live through their experiences or we can trial and error it ourselves and live through our own experiences. And then next year, we'll have better information and we'll make a better decision. But if you take the time to identify the patterns, why would you allow your life to be the guinea pig? Why would you give up years of your life to figure out how to achieve success when other people have already done it? This is important not only for you to maintain your wealth, but for you to teach your future generations to maintain their wealth. We need to identify the patterns, understand when a scam is coming along, understand when something sounds too good to be true, understand when there's an opportunity that is present. How do you vet an opportunity? You want to teach this to your children. You want to make sure that you implement the strategies in your own plan. The third way to maintain your wealth is to structure your finances. If you don't know where your money is going each month, then it's unlikely that you're going to be able to maintain your wealth. I'm just being honest with you. If you've ever worked in a corporation, so I worked in the finance department, right? You guys know my degrees are in economics. I have worked in several large companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, and we would create reports every single month. Those reports talked about how much revenue we made, what our costs were, how sales was comparing year to year, month to month, and we compared those numbers against the plan. Whatever the plan was that we had set, are we on track to achieve the goal at the end of the year? Are we off track to achieve the goal at the end of the year? Are we 5% off? Are we 10% off? Should we adjust the plan because it's unreasonable now? When it comes to working in corporate America, we keep track of everything. When it comes to most people in their personal finances, they keep track of little to nothing. If you do not keep track of your money, where you understand where it goes, and I often tell people you don't have to necessarily start off right away or keep track of everything, but you really do want to have percentages of your money that goes towards certain things. A percentage of your money that goes towards helping your kids, a percentage of your money that goes towards your vacation, a percentage of your money that goes towards your healthcare and everything else. Once that percentage is hit, then you say, you know what, I'm done for this year. I can no longer help you. We had, I don't know, $10,000. It was 10% of our budget. We were able to give that to any causes that were needed. Well, we had one person who needed $20,000 for a surgery. We were able to give them $10,000 to help with that. We're done for the year. That's what I'm talking about with structuring your finances. You need to know where your money should be going each month. How much are you spending on food? How much are you spending when you eat out? How much are you investing in your future? You have to know all of these things if you want to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. Next, we have design your goals. When it comes to maintaining your wealth, you got to know where you're going. And for many people, we don't have goals. And as a result, we're unable to stay on track. So, one of the people I love listening to is Nick Saban. He's the Alabama football coach. And he talks about discipline all the time. How do we maintain discipline year after year after year? And the way he defines discipline is getting yourself to do what you know you need to do when you don't want to do it, and keeping yourself from doing something that you want to do, even though you know that you shouldn't do it. And when he talks about building consistency, he always talks about the goals. When he meets the kids in high school, he tells them, we're here to win championships. That's what the goal is. We have a history of championships. If you follow the proven process that we have, you will get the proven result. At a minimum, you will give yourself a high probability of achieving the result because sometimes things happen. There is chance in the life that we have. And I think LeBron was someone that had talked about that. He said, if I do everything right, if I take care of my body, if I do the practice, and we go through the process, he's like, I'm giving myself the best possibility of getting to the NBA finals. And as long as I do that, I know I'm okay. And for us, we have to be the same way. What is the goal that you want to accomplish? What are the steps we need to do to achieve that goal? And are we willing to do it even when we don't feel like doing it? We don't always feel like working out, but we know that working out is good for us. So much so that when we're done working out, we often feel really good about what we just did. The hard part is always getting started. It's the same thing with investing for your future. For many people, we're always drawn to the thing that is closest to us. And obviously, the present is closest to you. You have daily issues that you're going through. And as a result, it makes it hard for you to plan or even see the future. You're like, Drake, I have so many problems today. How can I possibly think about the future? But the future is going to come whether you're ready or not. And as a result, I think it is essential that you have a clear design of where you're going, your dream, ideal, perfect retirement, the most beautiful life and experiences that you can create, where you write everything down and then we put a plan together to achieve these goals. And we put a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year, and a 10+ year plan together. As many people, I think Tony Robbins is someone that comes to mind where he says most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and they underestimate what they could do in 3 to 5 years. And when it comes to achieving your financial goals, it is in your best interest to go ahead and put a 5 to 10 year plan together. Again, the time is going to come. You just need to be ready for it. The life that you have today has little to do with the decision that you made last week or last month. It has a lot to do with the decision that you made last year, 2 years, 3 years ago. So, what do we need to do today to make sure that we have the life that we want 3, 5 years from now? And if you want to maintain your wealth, you have to have the design of the goals because we're going to be like Nick Saban, where we're going to look back at our actions and say, are these actions bringing you closer to a national championship? And for you and your goals, I'm going to say, is this action bringing you closer to a wealthy retirement? Is this action bringing you closer to creating generational wealth? Or are you setting yourself back and wasting the day? First of all, let me just thank you for watching the video. You really could be anywhere right now. And I want to thank you for your time. If you found value in this video, I simply ask that you like and subscribe so you can continue receiving valuable insights on how to solve generational wealth through strategic retirement planning. The last two strategies that we have when it comes to maintaining wealth is optimizing with systems. As humans, we both know that we're not perfect, that we're going to forget things, that we're going to make mistakes, that things are just not always going to go the way that we wanted them to go. So when you optimize with systems, you limit the ability to forget things. If you need to invest $100 from every single paycheck, go ahead and set that up on an automatic withdrawal. Don't even think about it. In fact, if you look at some of the changes that employers made, you know that the 401k, there was a point in time that you had to opt into a 401k, which means when you went into the company, you signed all the paperwork, you had to say, yes, I want to start contributing to my 401k. What Congress and these financial institutions notice is if we have people automatically opted in and then we require them to sign on the line to opt out, that the majority of people are not interested in changing whatever the status quo is. So if you're already opted in, you're going to stay opted in. If you started opted out, then you probably stay opted out. Whatever status quo is, that's what most of us want to change. We like little friction. As a result, for you to be able to create and maintain your wealth, you have to create as little friction as possible. You have to automate and optimize all of your investments. Now, whether that is building your own team where you have your CPA, your financial planner, and an attorney, they work for you. They make sure that you're on track and achieving your goals, or whether you want to start out by just making sure that you have your money automatically withdrawn for your paycheck. Now, when it comes to your investments and you talk about optimizing with systems, there are many firms that do things like dollar cost averaging, which is a very fancy way of saying that we just put in the same amount every single month. And it's going to cause you to have some great months when you buy the stock. It's going to be some not so great months when you buy the stock as the price of the stock ebbs and flows. But what will happen is over the long term, you'll find that you're relatively okay. That when you average it out, it's about what it would have been. Now, could you have gotten lucky and invested a large lump sum at the perfect time and hit gangbusters? Of course, and the numbers pan that out as well. But it's in most people's best interest to make sure that they're investing on a consistent basis more than it is making sure that they time when to start investing, because that is always going to ebb and flow. You just never know when there's going to be a war between countries. You never know when the government is going to say, you know, we're not going to pay our bills, or whether the Fed is going to say we're going to increase or decrease rates. We're going to print extra money. We're not going to print extra money. It is so hard to control all of these variables, which is why it makes most sense for people to just have something automatically set up. It's called dollar cost averaging. It just means that you're buying the stocks consistently every single month and you're buying the same allocation. Now, what you'll also have to do is as time goes on, you will notice that you'll have a lot more of one stock than you have of another stock. Because if you bought a stock, let's say you have like $100 that went towards like two or three stocks, but one stock was going down in price. So every time you spent $100, if it was at like $20, now you're buying 5 shares every single time you buy a stock. But the other stock went up in price. So it was at 50, but it went to $100. Well, now that means we're only buying 1 share of the gangbuster stock. So periodically, you're going to have to readjust your portfolio to where it gets back to where that little middle number is, where each of your portfolios have that same percentage that you intended to have. All of these are strategies that you can use to maintain your wealth. And last and not least, we have modeling the successful. So when it comes to modeling the successful, there is someone out there that is doing exactly what you want to do with their life, point blank, period. And I would say go out there and find someone that you could model. And it's something that I often call wisdom piecing. And all it is the process of strategically gathering knowledge from multiple sources, taking action to grow an experience, and drawing accurate conclusions that are right for you and your family. Once you decide whose experiences or wisdom that you want to model, you have now put a plan together to make sure that you maintain your wealth not only for your lifetime, but for generations to come, where you break that generational wealth curse. And you also did it in a way that ensures that your children are not going to be like trust fund babies. They're not going to be spoiled rich kids. You're not going to take away their desire to live and achieve success, but instead you're going to be helping them to achieve their goals. You're going to be sharing the wisdom with them so that they don't get caught in the system where the system is designing lifelong employees who are not very happy with their situation. You find that 70, 80% of people on a regular basis are unhappy in the Times Happiness Survey. You find that people are bickering and arguing all the time. And as a result, that's why most politicians, if you've ever noticed, they really sell it from that messiah, like, I'm going to fix everything for you. And naturally, you should obviously run the other way anytime a politician tells you that they can fix your life. But the reality is, most people feel so lost and so hopeless that when someone does say, I can fix the problems in your situation, most people are like, I've been waiting for someone to say that. And because we have all the same problems, it often ends up getting us trapped. So we get trapped again further and deeper into the system where we either get scammed or we get let down, where we feel like we're stuck in the same cycle looking for something to change, but nothing is changing. If you want to make sure that you break out of the rat race and you want to make sure that your future generations never get caught in the rat race, then you follow these 6 strategies. And you'll notice that the acronym is wisdom. You'll see that the winner's philosophy is the W, the identifying the patterns is the I, the structuring your finances, that's the S. And then you have the D, which is designing your dream life. You have the O, which is optimizing with systems. And the M, you have modeling the successful.